Welcome to the Crafty Mini. This is going to be the start of a mini-series that I'm working on, and you're going to see everything from the game that I've chose to play right the way through to how I'm going to pimp the game up, the miniatures I use, the painting, bits from the rules, things that I've borrowed inspiration from right the way through, and then maybe even if people want to, we could do some battle reports at the end, and after we've built a group of survivors, and go from there. So, zombies. Bit of a strange subject, but it's something I want to chat about. I've got a soft spot for zombies and gaming, tabletop stories, the miniature world, and all and above. For me, there's just a certain suspense and challenge that I always, keeps you on the edge of my seat when I'm playing these things. Something to do with the fact that, as you know, people who follow the channel, I love horror, but zombies, there's a particular thing that I enjoy, and I think it's because they're us, or were us, and there's something about that, that it can happen to any of us at any point. The idea of a post-apocalyptic world overrun by the undead just immediately sparks my imagination, and I start exploring different survival scenarios. I've done this with friends at night, and I've had a few beers or whatever, and we're just like, would we survive a zombie apocalypse? What would we do? And stuff like this. So whether I'm playing a zombie themed video game, delving into the tabletop role plays, or reading a book, the sense of danger and excitement is always present, and it's something I absolutely love. Now, through editing and video jiggery pokery, by now you should see a variety of things upon the screen zombie related. Some of these are my favourite. The standouts for me are World War Z by Max Brooks. It's an oral history of the zombie war, and it's written from the perspective of the survivors and interviews with people from around the world. Strongly recommend it, and if you can, get the audio version, because it is brilliant. Every single character has their own voice actor, and it gives a bit more life to the story, and the fact that, and also I think just a brilliant idea, the fact that instead of like every other zombie thing, it's the people in that moment surviving. This is after the war, after we've won, which I just think is a brilliant idea. So that's up there. Day by Day Armageddon, another book, Jailborn. That is just a brilliant series and has some really cool twists. And that's very much as a diary of a man who's surviving day by day. From the initial outbreak right the way through to, I think the last book's a couple of years after the zombie outbreak. Game-wise, for me, State of Decay 2, I absolutely love that game. There's other good ones out there, Resident Evil, obviously, Left 4 Dead 2. And then film-wise, there's tons. George A. Romero is the grandfather of, the modern-day zombie sort of pop culture thing. 28 days later, 28 weeks later, I know they're technically not undead, they're rage virus, but I put it in the same category for me. These are the main inspirations and the reasons why I love this genre so much. So then, when I realised there was a game that encompasses my favourite things about this genre, that's miniature based, tabletop wargaming, I was in. And that is this game, Last Days Zombie Apocalypse by Osprey Games by Ash Barker, who is this gentleman here. Go check his YouTube channel out, I'll leave a link in the description. If you haven't seen him already, Guerrilla Miniatures Games. Does a lot of tabletop reviews and goes through things, but this guy is actually, he created this game from his love and passion of the miniature wargaming, and the fact that he loves, like myself, he loves zombies. He created this game, and this game is brilliant. So what this series video is going to be is me building and painting all the miniatures, the usual sort of paint stuff you expect on this channel, customising things. We're going to actually build a group of survivors, give them names, which the idea is I'm going to leave that out there for you guys to do. Subscribers, you can come up with the names of the heroes. I'll show off some of the cool miniatures that I've got for this game, right the way through to pimping it up, because this game is purely the rule book that you'll see in a moment, and that's it. So everything about it, you can customise it to your heart's content, and that's what I love about it. Right, so anyway, enough babbling. we're going to go in now and you're going to see the rule book, and we'll go through all that. And this is the first episode of the mini-series, so cheers for staying with us and hope you enjoy it. Right, and this is the game. There's 2 books, one's optional, the seasons. This allows you to do campaign play, but we'll look at that later on. So the first book, this is the rules, Osprey Publishing, and it is, you can tell this is a labour of love by Ash Barker. The artwork is fantastic, it's really well thought out, really well planned out as well. Concise, you're not jumping around the book much to find rules and things, which I like. And cracking little photos of the actual miniatures and terrain that he uses in game. So the game itself, you get a stat line, which will pop up here, and this shows your basic stats of each character, and zombies have their own stat lines as well. And the way it works is the number there is what you add to 2 dice, 2d6, and you need to beat 7 or more for it to work. So you got things like CQC, so close quarters combat, your firearms skill, your strength, your endurance, your courage, because zombies, can end up scaring you. Initiative to see who goes first, and action points, see how many things you can do in a turn. And there are various types of characters in this. You got firemen, ex-police, biker gangs, thugs, all sorts of things. So you can have a common mishmash of a common group of people that are going to survive the zombie apocalypse, and you basically make them. There's even cool dogs as well that you can have. They generate a lot of noise, which can attract more zombies. But yeah, good fun, and that's something I'll be showing off with my team. I'm doing a bit of a twist on the dog. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I love State Decay 2, and this is something this game brings in. It's the base building. So you have a refuge. So this can be like a farm, a police station. It could be an old gun shop, and each have bonuses depending on what they are. So like farms, you can grow food and things. You've got a gun shop. You've got barred windows, so it's harder for the zombies to break in because there's downtime between each mission, where you've got to assign people to go and watch, and people might need to rest up and try and recoup wounds that they've suffered from other survivors or zombies and things. And it's just a really nice in-depth role-play heavy system that just adds a lot of customization and just gives you a bit more fluff and a bit more crunch, which is what I want in a game. Because I think for me, I've played miniature games for a long time, but there's certain games and they get to a point and they lose that because of it's got to be mass battles, and it's got to be quick to play and things. Whereas this is very much on the minutiae. Thinking about all the cool stuff that you can do. There's different types of missions. In the seasons, you literally play. Every game is a month of the year, and you've got to worry about if it's cold. If you're going to get food isn't going to grow, so you've got to go out and scavenge more, and fuel for cars and things like this. And it's just loads and loads of layers of depth in this game, and it just, the more I read about it, the more it looks amazing. So yeah, as we're skipping through the book now, we're going to also go through a few other minor things that are worth looking at, and we'll go from there. So some of the cool stuff. So after a mission, there's a chance that you've scavenged some extra supplies if you've physically got stuff off the table, because there are these little objective markers which you'll see in a later video that I've actually got and painted up. You've got things like there's injuries that could be permanent, so you might actually lose a limb, which could affect your stats. Like if you lose a leg, you're not going to be as fast, you're not going to have as many action points and things. And all this just adds to that fact that that survivor aspect that I love about the zombie genre. These characters, because you're going to name them, you're going to customise them, you're going to get attached to them, and they could die, which I think's just brilliant. And that's what gives it that role play sense as well. Now, in the back of the book, you can see here on the video, so you got a character sheet, refuge cards. What I did is I got them. This is the free download for PDFs, and I got them printed off, so I can have them as like quick reference sheets. Just so when we get to the point that we're going to build the actual party of the group of survivors, and get the audience involved and go from there and do some cool stuff with it. Also on the website for free is a quick reference sheet. This is extremely well laid out. Now, those people who are wargamers, you'll understand how really important it is to have a very, very good quick reference street. Now, this is from Osprey Games, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Everything you need's on there. It's very rare you need to jump back into the book after you've learnt the rules. Now, this is one of my favourites. So, the Chaos Theory thing, again, free to download. Off the Osprey website, it's all in there, sort of extras part, and this is a bunch of random dice rolls, so you can create any of your survivors from scratch and roll everything. So starting gear, stats, personality, what their demeanour is, how they react to things. You literally can roll everything, and it's just a really good supplement, and something I'm going to use for some of the alternate groups, the sort of NPC groups that are going to show up. But yeah, so that's the rule book. Fantastic. There's a lot of love and care gone into this, you can tell from Ash, and top-notch product. Strongly recommend it. And the Seasons book we'll look at in a later video, so that's for more of like an in-depth campaign, and we're going to go from there. So things you're going to need for the game: D6s, lots of them. These are the objective markers I mentioned, so I got these 3D printed from Thsi. You think you need 5, so I've just got 5, and they're all unique looking crates. They're slightly oversized, which is what I want, because you need to be able to see them from tabletop. So you're going to need some of those. Now, miniatures. There's a lot of zombie stuff out there. I managed to find these. These were on sale from Warlord Games, and you can buy the individual sprues. So I got a set of male zombies, a set of female zombies, I think a set of survivors, a biker gang, which is quite cool, and a biker gang leader, and they're going to go on top of some other miniatures that you're going to see in this video, and they'll make the sort of my core survivor team, some of the NPC antagonists, and a few other things that we can do with that. There's a lot of cool detail on these minis, and a lot of gruesome damage to them. Like there's one zombie you'll see in a minute, and he's clearly been run over by a truck, and he's got a tyre mark through his crushed torso. It's stuff like that. It's the gore level of this that I love as well. So some random 3D prints that I bought. When we come to painting them, I'll do full shout outs to the guys who sold them me. So I've got, and they're just checking there for scale, and they are. So these are some military soldiers in hazmat suits. They're the right size, just need to get some bases, and just some normal sort of mercenary looking guys as well. So that's like a potential other faction, which will do a nod to one of my favourite zombie books as well, which we'll go into detail later on. Then I've got some really cool heroes. So this is my option for, instead of a dog, it was this miniature of a pig with like an army harness. So War Pig is going to be his name. So he's going to be my quote-unquote dog. I also found, and they're part painted at the moment, but it's basically Simon Pegg and Nick Frost from Shaun of the Dead. So I'm going to have them as like elite heroes that are roving around some of the towns that maybe we can recruit later. And then there's other little stuff which you'll see here. I'm just getting it now. This was a little snake from Metal Gear Solid miniature, and I was like, right, well, I want that in the game just because it's a cool mini. And again, he could be this sort of lone survivor that's going around doing everything. So as you can see, this is going to be quite a big project. It's going to be multiple episodes as we work our way through. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. This is the end of episode 1. Episode 2, we're going to start the actual building, get the zombies made. I'll show you some of that, and then onto the painting and other things, and we go from there. But thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.